Christina Anne Adams, A Daughter's Betrayal. Christina Anne Adams, the name now synonymous with a chilling act of familial violence. At 33 years old, she stands condemned, sentenced to 2 life sentences for a crime that defies comprehension. She murdered her 74-year-old father, Richard Langer, and she attempted to murder her own mother, Sally Langer. The brutal events unfolded in Ocala, Florida, on September 16, 2022, leaving a community reeling. This is not just a story of murder. It's a descent into darkness, a stark examination of fractured relationships and the devastating consequences of unchecked rage. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The Langers, a seemingly ordinary family, harbored a secret turmoil. Christina Adams resided in a converted studio apartment on her parents' property, a living arrangement that would soon become a fatal entanglement. Her father, Richard Langer, made a request that would ignite the spark of unimaginable violence. He asked Christina to move out of the studio to accommodate another sibling. This simple request, a father's attempt to manage his family's living arrangements, became the catalyst for a horrific crime. It was a trigger that unleashed a storm of resentment and fury. Armed with a knife and a taser pen, Christina Adams prepared to confront her parents. The seemingly innocuous request to move out had festered into a murderous rage. She found her father Richard at the computer, unsuspecting of the horror about to unfold. The attack was swift and brutal. First, the taser pen, a jolt of electricity meant to subdue. Then, the knife, plunging into his arm. Her mother, Sally, hearing the commotion, rushed to her husband's aid, only to become a target herself. The knife found its mark again, this time in Sally's chest. Christina, consumed by rage, turned back to her father, stabbing him repeatedly in the chest. In the immediate aftermath, Christina Adams believed she had succeeded in her deadly mission. She thought both her parents were dead. Driven by a chillingly calculated instinct, she attempted to erase all traces of her crime. Clothes were washed, the murder weapon meticulously cleaned with bleach. Then, in a move that defies comprehension, she changed her clothes and went shopping with her wife at Publix. Her wife remained blissfully unaware of the carnage that had just transpired. Richard Langer, despite the severity of his wounds, clung to life. He managed to call 911, his voice a desperate plea for help. In his final act of paternal duty, he identified his attacker, his own daughter, Christina Adams. Deputies arrived to find a scene of unimaginable horror. Both Richard and Sally Langer were found with multiple stab wounds, their lives hanging in the balance. Richard Langer succumbed to his injuries at the hospital, leaving behind a legacy of love and service. Sally Langer, miraculously, survived the attack. As Christina Adams and her wife drove back from their shopping trip, deputies intercepted them. The facade of normalcy was about to crumble. Initially, Christina denied any involvement in the stabbings. Her carefully constructed lies began to unravel when her account of events clashed with her wife's statement. Cornered and exposed, Christina Adams finally confessed to the stabbings. She admitted that the request to leave the home had ignited her rage, pushing her over the edge. The trial was swift, the evidence overwhelming. Christina Adams was found guilty of premeditated first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. The jurors deliberated for a brief period before delivering their verdict. Justice, though delayed, had finally arrived. Judge Timothy McCourt sentenced Christina Adams to 2 life sentences, a punishment befitting the heinousness of her crimes. The 5th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office announced the sentencing, marking the end of a long and painful chapter. Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods condemned the stabbings as senseless acts of violence. He commended the deputies and detectives for their swift and decisive action in bringing Adams to justice. Walter Forgey, 5th Judicial Circuit Chief Assistant State Attorney, emphasized the pursuit of justice and the importance of providing closure for the victims. The legal system had spoken, but the scars of this tragedy would remain. Richard Langer was more than just a victim. He was a 74-year-old veteran and pilot, a man who served his country and soared through the skies. He was a father to 9 children, a testament to his love and commitment to family. He was described as an all-around amazing human being, a man whose life was tragically cut short by the very person he had nurtured. Sally Langer, though physically scarred, carries the emotional burden of survival, forever marked by the betrayal of her own daughter. In a desperate attempt to mitigate her culpability, Christina Adams claimed to suffer from an undiagnosed mental health disorder. She also alleged a history of abuse, painting herself as a victim of circumstance. These claims, while potentially relevant, do not excuse the brutality of her actions. They serve as a chilling reminder of the complexities of the human mind and the potential for darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about family dynamics, mental health, and the capacity for violence that exists within us all. It is a cautionary tale, a disturbing glimpse into the abyss of human depravity. The Christina Anne Adams case is not just a legal matter, it's a psychological puzzle. What drove a daughter to commit such a heinous act against her own parents? Was it a sudden eruption of rage or a slow burn of resentment that finally reached its breaking point? The answers may lie buried deep within the recesses of her mind, obscured by layers of denial and self-deception. The claim of an undiagnosed mental health disorder raises critical questions about access to mental health care and the importance of early intervention. Could this tragedy have been prevented if Adams had received the help she needed? The alleged history of abuse adds another layer of complexity to the case. Did past trauma contribute to her violent tendencies? Was she a victim turned perpetrator? These questions demand careful consideration and analysis. They highlight the need for a more nuanced understanding of the factors that can contribute to violent behavior. The Christina Anne Adams case serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of family bonds and the devastating consequences of unchecked anger. It is a tragedy that will continue to haunt the community of Ocala, Florida, for years to come. Let us remember Richard Langer, a veteran, a pilot, a father, and an all-around amazing human being. And let us hope that Sally Langer can find some measure of peace in the aftermath of this unspeakable horror. This case is a call to action, a call to address the underlying issues that can lead to such acts of violence, a call to provide better access to mental health care, a call to break the cycle of abuse. Only then can we hope to prevent future tragedies and create a society where families are safe and secure. The darkness of the Christina Anne Adams case must serve as a beacon, guiding us towards a brighter, more compassionate future.